Today, we're going to take a different approach on graphics card nightmares. We're going to tell you all what I'm thinking about in the beginning, and then we're just going to jump right into it. So make sure you all stick around to the end and see what I got cooking. All right, everybody, welcome back once again. If your first time here to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Don't forget to turn on your notification bell so you know when I post the next video. It's no secret that AMD and NVIDIA have revolutionized the world of graphic technology. But in recent years, the approach to pricing and availability has left the tech enthusiast frustrated, bewildered, and the feelings downright betrayed. These companies have made bold promises to their loyal consumers, only to backtrack and shift blame and ultimately leave consumers holding the bag. So let's take a closer look and see what I've unraveled. When AMD and NVIDIA launched their latest graphics cards, they pledged to make them available at reasonable manufacturer's suggested retail prices, MSRP. Tech enthusiasts rejoiced finally a chance to get their hands on cutting-edge technology without breaking the bank. But that optimism quickly evaporated when reality set in. What's the truth? Only a limited number of cards were ever sold at MSRP, and even those were snatched up in record time. As soon as the first batch were gone, prices skyrocketed, leaving many fans priced out of the market. Suddenly, the promise of affordability seemed more like a cruel marketing ploy. Companies assured consumers that there would be enough stock to meet demand. The launch even painted a picture of abundance with sleek ads and confident executive touting availability. But when the day came, chaos ensued. Consumer faced an impossible battle, waiting in hours-long queue lines, refreshing store pages, and crash repeatedly, only to find out that the insufficient stock was nowhere to be found. A lucky few managed to secure GPUs, but the vast majority were left empty-handed, forced to either wait indefinitely or pay an extraordinary price set by resellers. And then came the kicker. Post-launch price hikes. After the initial wave of stock was sold out, prices were quietly adjusted upwards. Supply chains were cited, demand was blamed, and consumers were told like this: that's just how the market works. What worse, these companies continued to release statements reassuring consumers that they were committed to fairness and accessibility, and all the while changing the rules of the game. It's a classic case of promising one thing and delivering another. Bait and switch. This isn't just a number on a spreadsheet. Tech forums and social media platforms are flooded with stories of consumers who saved up for months to buy a GPU, only to find out themselves to be priced out when they finally had a chance to purchase one. Others have shared their frustration with lack of transparency and the feeling of being misled by companies they once trusted. So, what does this all mean for the future of GPU and the tech industry as a whole? It's clear that the trust between consumers and the manufacturers have been eroded, and creativity are are more accessible than ever. These companies are creating barriers instead of breaking them down. So where do we go from here is the question. It's time to hold AMD and NVIDIA accountable, not just for their pricing strategies, but for their integrity. Consumers have the power, and by raising our voices and demanding better practices, we can push for more transparent, fair, and consumer-focused GPU market. So, in conclusion, the gaming market has become a game of broken promises and shifting goalposts. But consumers are powerless. Let's shine a light on these practices and demand better from the companies we support. After all, innovation should be an uplift and empower, not leave fans feeling exploited. So it comes down to this, guys. As long as this practice keeps going, future generations are going to look like this even worse. So don't forget about your drink and snacks, by the way. So now that I got that off my chest, I wrote this down yesterday and thought this all the way through what I was going to say. So, yes, I was looking on my phone, okay, and reading off what I wrote because I wanted to put all my focus on what I wanted to say. And that's basically, in a nutshell, where everybody's standing right now when it comes to the GPU market or any PC parts on the market. It's going to be the same song and dance. So these companies have to understand, not everybody has $1 million to buy PC parts. And if they keep going down this route, that's what it's going to take, especially with the scalpers. And the scalpers have already flooded eBay, one of their most trusted spots for selling. That's their paradise. You know, for calling them out for illegal practices, they they bought the parts legally. And for what they sell it on eBay, that's their choice. They can sell it for 4 times as much. Does it stop the world? But it just makes it harder for gamers and the community to get PC parts because they're being all sucked up by the scalpers. What do retailers do to combat it? They don't care. The reason why is because they're selling it and making their money, and they can care less. And now with some of their practices, what they're doing is the retailers is jacking up the prices just as high as the scalper prices. So it makes it even worse for the gamers in the PC community to even buy these new and innovative parts to put in their PCs. They got to sell their whole house just to do that. I'm not gonna sell my house, my socks, my shorts, or my car or anything else just to buy PC parts. I'll find other ways. There are other ways to get PC parts. And if these retailers keep going down this road, they're going to price themselves right out of business when it comes to the PC community. And there's a lot of people already saying they're not going to buy anything. And that's about close to 60 to 70% of the world. That's a lot of money to lose when you could have been a little bit smarter on the products that you're building and getting the product builders, like the companies that build the GPUs and stuff, to get them to come down in the price. So that way you can sell it at a lower price to the consumers. But now the retailers got the empowerment that they can sell the GPUs for $5,000 for a 5090, 5080, selling it for $3,000, 5070 Ti selling it for $2,000, and a 5070 selling for $1,000. And then it comes down to AMD and their 9070 and their 9070 XT, that they're jacking up the 9070, which to me is like a 4070, and they're pushing it at $650, $50 more than the 4070, or the 9070 XT, which AMD claimed they're not going high end. And guess what? The price is like $1,500 for a decent GPU. I'll admit, the first batch they had when it come to the launch of the 9070 and the 9070 XT, for having the 9070 XT for $599, but a limited amount and a limited batch. Basically, how can I say this? Your entry level, mid-grade GPUs were priced at $599. Now, their low-end GPU was priced at $549, which they had more of an abundance of the XT model than they did the non-XT model. But these were not overclockable models. These were the non-OCs. But now when they put the OC in there, and some people are realizing that the overclocking is only giving them 2% on the OC model, but they're paying a higher price for it, they're more upset about this. So this is the reason why today, when we go through graphics card nightmares, that this is just going to sum it up for everybody. This is my second time making this video. And the reason why it's my second time making the video, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, I didn't like the first one. The first one did not sum up what I'm bringing to you guys today. So I'm rolling up my sleeves. Just to let you know, I'm rolling up my sleeves. So this way, when we get ready, which is going to be in a few minutes, well, not a few minutes, a few seconds, we're going to get started on the action screen and we're going to see what's cooking. So hopefully you guys stay with me to the end, and then I'll give you a little bit more conclusion on this, on what we see today, and then you can understand where I'm coming from. So let's go ahead and dive right into the action screen. Okay, now that we're at the action screen, let me go ahead and move my face over to my normal spot where I normally sit. There we go. Let's go ahead and open up DuckDuckGo. Like you guys always see me do, we open up DuckDuckGo. Let's go to Amazon. Our focus today is the 9070, the 9070 XT, and the 50 series to see what we can find. I'm not going to focus like I normally do every week on, just going through the pages. We're going to take and we're going to focus on what we see this week when it comes to these new models that they launched for this generation, and see if its value is worth you buying or not. So what we got to do now is we got to get the big cursor out. And that's what I'm working on right now, to get that big old cursor out for you guys, so you can scroll along with me and we can go from there. I'm also too going to change the color of it because I didn't like the color of it. So we got the new color. We're back on the trail. Let's go to Amazon and start there and do our normal. We click the all button. We take it down to where it says computers and graphics card for gaming PCs. But that's not what we're doing. I told you guys we're not doing that this week. We are going to type in the RX 9070 and click it right here. And we're going to see what we're going to focus on. Yesterday, ASRock had this one for $1,200. And there was only one left. This was yesterday. This was all I was looking at prices yesterday. Today, this price went up $200 to $1,500 for a 9070 XT Tai Chi. This is a load of crap. So, just telling you, they got a 7900 XT. It's not what we're looking for. A 7800 XT. It's bad when you got the 7900 XT, which has 20 gigabytes of VRAM compared to something that has 16 gigabytes of VRAM. Oh, it's clocked up higher. But the thing is this has got more VRAM than this. So what's more valued? I'd tell you, for this price, the 7900 XT looks like a better value than the 9070 XT at that point. Look at this, 9070 over $1,000. This is crap. This is ludicrous. This right here, this is crap. So, I mean, 9070 XT in a bundle for $2,100. That seems like a better deal because you got the 9800 X3D and you got 32 gigabytes of DDR5 6000. You got a 2 terabyte SSD, 850 watt gold PSU, and the whole soup and nuts for $2,100. That's not too bad. That breaks down the price. If you broke down the price of this will break down the price a little bit further. Because if you were to break this apart on PC Part Picker, you probably would see that the 9070 would come down to close to about $700 doing it this way. So 7800 XT, it's over $600, 673. Wow. They got this one for $1,200, a 9070 XT. They got this one here for $940. But it looks like it's on a used option. 9070, they got over $1,000. They got the 9070 again, $1,045. 9070 XT, they got it for $1,360. Was about to say $1,400. They got this one here, Red Devil, for $990.85. Let's see, they got 7900 XT. They're trying to get it for $1,200, $1,240. 9070 XT, they're trying to get for $1,279. I can't make this up, guys. This is the real deal. I cannot make this up whatsoever. I cannot make this up. And the base model, this is the base model. 9070 XT OC, $1,200. This is no better. This is no better than NVIDIA. But NVIDIA and AMD are not controlling these prices. They had a handle on the prices before, but they don't now. So let's move over to Newegg and see what they got cooking. So we'll hit Newegg and go there and type in RX 9070. We'll just see what they got rolling so that way we get a good idea. They got mid towers. Let's see. 9700X with the 9070 XT for $1,799. Okay, so if you were to price this one out, it would come up $100 short of that number. Let's see, $2,300. 9800X 3D, 9070 XT, 32 gigabytes of DDR5, Windows 11, 1,000 watt gold PSU. Okay, so you got $169, you got $200, you got $369, you got another $169, so that's about $520. And then you got 400, let's say with $1,200 without the graphics card. $1,200. So that makes the graphics card about $1,000. Still, $599? Really? I don't think so. You ain't gonna see nothing at MSRP. These are all pre-built. So you guys can look on Amazon. You know, they got all this. This is all pre-built. Now we get to the 9070. They got it for $670. That's the only thing they got right there. It's the 9070, non-OC. And everything else is sold out. Every bit is sold out. So now you get an idea of how Newegg is rolling. Basically, most of their graphics cards are put into pre-builts. So, and if you don't know what a pre-built is, this is a pre-built. This is a pre-built. So basically, they put all their focus into the pre-builts other than putting their focus into selling them individually, because they know if they show the price individually on the graphics cards, that they're going to get hammered by the gaming community. And pretty much that's the reason why they did it like that, to keep the persona of how they look presenting these cards. So that way they don't look like the bad guy, even though that they are. So now let's go to Micro Center. We're just going to be going back and forth, guys. We're just going to be going back and forth. So we're just looking at the 9000 series right now. That's what we're looking at. So now we're looking at the 9070. They got one for $549. They got one $100 more. They got $800. This is just crazy. This is just crazy. Look at that. A whole pre-built, $2,400. Even Micro Center is getting in on the action with the pre-builts. But I can't make this up. These prices are just, I mean, they got Power Color, the Reaper for $600, but not a lot of people got Micro Center close to them. That's the thing. That's the reason why, some people are upset, because Micro Center doesn't ship. They won't ship these cards out to anybody. You got to go to the store and buy these. And I still think that's the ugliest card ASRock made. You guys might like it and everything else, but I still think it's the ugliest card that ASRock made, even if it's at $600. I like mine because it's pitch black. So, I like mine better. No RGB, no nothing. RGB makes it run faster, whatever. So, yeah. I mean, they got a self sapphire right here, pulse. They got another sapphire pulse. Uh, ASRock's got a Challenger, the 9070, 549, and so on. Okay, now let's dive into the meat and potatoes. Let's go over to e-waste, I mean eBay. eBay. Okay, so now we'll tie in the 9070. Let's see. They got an XT 985, not XT 949. This makes sense, right? Two of the same cards, just different names. 95, $50, well, $30 difference between the two. Wow. Not 1,784. Let me see if I can find one that's for 599. So far, it's a negative, negative, negative. And I'm adding on delivery. This makes it even worse for everybody that wants to buy these cards. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy and it's crap. $1,000. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my God. This is on a bid. This reason why you got to bid for this, and they're only up to 585. I bet you they're only pushing it up $1 at a time too. Wow. Wow. Retail prices and some. Wow. You can see that, and I'm going to flip back to the main screen really quick. You can see that what this was just the first run for the 9070 and the 9070 XT. What the real prices that are being pushed out there. As you can see, going through Amazon, Newegg, and Micro Center, and going over to eBay, that they're all running almost concurrent with all the same prices. So that makes you really think, who's benefiting? The retailers or the scalpers? And it looks like they're all benefiting off of this because everybody's buying them. And I heard some outlets have sold out and they're waiting on a new shipment from these AIB partners. So let's go ahead and jump back into it. Now we can go look at the RTX 50 series. Now let's go back to the beginning in Amazon and see what we can find on the 50 series. So we do the RTX 50. Let's do 5090, 5080, 5070 Ti, 5070. We'll just do it all together in one big bunch. 5070 Ti, $1,270. 5070, they got it for $965. 5080, $2,179. 5080, $2,055. 5070 Ti Prime, $1,285. And so on. 5080, see, 5070 Ti, 5070 Ti, 5080. You got a whole desktop with the 5070 Ti for $2,250 with the 7700 non-overclockable processor. If it's not an X version, it's basically it's got no graphics and it has no advantages. So I wouldn't buy that anyway because there's no airflow going through that case. $2,300 and almost $2,000. And this one right here, it's got a 5070 for $1,600. 14700F. They must be nuts. 1249, 1229, 1375. I'm just going through each one of them. $1,118. Overclocked, $1,580 for this. I mean, if it says OC, they're going to definitely be overclocked. I mean, duh. 5070 Ti OC, they want $1,185. Let's see. Asus ROG Astral GeForce RTX 5080 OC. They want $2,345. Crazy. And $1,710, $1,640. That's pretty much what it looks like on Amazon. Let's go to Newegg. Go back to the top and type in the RTX 5090, 5080, 5070 Ti, and 5070. And see what we come up with if it does this. Nope, a damn thing. Okay. Newegg's always fussy like that, so we'll hit the 5090 and see what we come up with. Out of stock, out of stock, out of stock. They got gaming system right here. I can't make this up. $5,400. You can make equivalent 3 PCs for $5,400. Oh my God. 5,000. Look at this. 5,000, 4,000, 5,000, 5,000. 5090 out of stock. They had it for $2,700. If you're lucky. That 5090 for $2,000. When it's out of stock. All the good ones are out of stock. All the good ones are out of stock. Every bit of it. Kind of makes you sick, doesn't it? So I guess they ain't got nothing cooking on Newegg but disasters and nightmares. So now let's see what they got here at Microsoft. RTX 5090. Say 5090, 5090, 5090. 5090. Wow. Micro Center is no better than the rest of those retailers. But they put it with the 285K for $5,000. Hell no. They put it with the wrong CPU, I think. Wow. And nobody got this kind of money to be spending on a graphics card. Look at this. Almost $5,000 for a laptop. Micro Center, you guys need to really talk to these companies about adjusting the prices. $5,500 for a gaming PC. That's got a 5090. You know, does it have anything? No, it's got a 285K. Really? Seriously? Yeah. I'm not going to waste you guys' time on this. We already know what the deal is. So let's just get down to it and go to my conclusion. I mean, we'll do this. We'll do this. We'll do an RTX 50 series. And see if we can get all the GPUs to come up. Okay, let's see. We were able to $1,000, 5070, 5070,000, 899, 630. Let's see. Got a bid on that. They got 37 bidders. 37 bidders, and it's only at $630. Seriously. 900, 900, 900, $1,100, $1,200, 1,000. They even sell you the cord for $15, close to it. This right here, this is an indicator that they're pulling this either out of the power supply boxes or they're pulling this out of the GPU boxes and selling it individually. Oh my God. Look at that. It's just nuts. Nuts. Wow. This is crazy. I mean, I can't make this up. I cannot make this up for the life of me. And I'm sitting there looking at my 4070 and looking at this 5070. I'm like, I'm glad I got my 4070 for the price I did. $2,000 for a 5080 at an MSRP of 1,000. Oh, man. Well, actually, 5070, no, 5080, yeah. I mean, you can't make this up. Everybody's trying to sell everybody and their brother. So back to the main screen for the conclusion. Okay, guys, I'm going to close everything out. I looked through everything and, you know, there's a lot of distrust. I mean, I know some people are going to hate on me for, you know, bringing this out like this, but the point is that these companies have to realize who they're really hurting. They're hurting the consumer and they're hurting their business. So if they want to stop all that noise, then they would, you know, secure things a little bit better so the consumer can buy these. Or they would make up enough stock, which AMD claimed that they had enough stock, but finding out that they ran through the first batch after 10 minutes. And the reason why they went through the first batch in 10 minutes is because the retailers are only putting out 200 or 300 cards. and calling it the first batch. And then taking the rest of the cards dishonestly and pushing it out at a higher price that the AIB partners quoted them, so they don't lose money. It's not just on top of these MSRP cards. The problem is AMD only gave them a certain amount of rebate, and that was it. That was the end of it. They only gave them enough for like a couple hundred cards, which they were claiming, oh, they're going to put, more MSRP cards out there and this and that. No, that's not how it's looking right now. Because right now, what's going to happen is these retailers are going to be stuck with all this stock that they bought. And they're not going to know what to do with it other than mark it down to the cost that they bought it for. That's the only way they're going to make their money back. And that's what it's going to come down to the end of the long run. Everybody's going to be like, well, they sold us a great card for MSRP. Okay. A limited amount. It's like a limited edition, founder's edition. Basically, that's all they sold it to you for. They sold you the crappiest cards that they had built for entry level, and then only sold a couple hundred of them. And then after that, jacked up the prices. These retailers had no other choice. They had to make back their money because AMD wasn't supporting them on these cards. A voucher for a couple hundred of them, that's only like what? $2,000 that they might have supported to these retailers. And there's some retailers claiming that they got the MSRP cards and they paid a higher price, but again, still stuck down to the $200 level. They said after the first batch, some of them said that they're not going to buy any more, that they're actually not going to put them on the shelves because it's not viable. It's not viable for their business. They're in the business to make money, these retailers. They're not in the business to lose money. And that's basically what it come down to. And that's what AMD was asking them to do, was lose money. And they said, hell no. And guess who paid the price? The gamers. We paid the price. On top of these big data centers that they've been sending all this silicon to and shortchanging us on the end when it comes to the gaming graphics cards, because they were making more money on the data centers than they were on the gamers. And the percentages for the gamers are it's dwindling down. It used to be up to like a 35, 40% kind of thing. Now it's dwindled down to 12%. And some people are saying it's down to below 10% that the gamers are buying graphics cards. So, and that's where AMD says they rather put their money where it's viable, where they can make money. And so they decided, well, I'm going to put my money into PlayStation. That's where I'm going to make my money. And that's where they put their chips to see if they can make the money. But it's going to come down to they're not going to make the money there neither. So they're stuck doing data centers, just like NVIDIA, just like Intel. I can guarantee you this generation was a flop, was a serious flop, because they didn't structure themselves correctly on the launch. January was supposed to be a good launch. Then AMD extended it to March. And then, you got NVIDIA after CES, told you all the prices. AMD kind of panicked and held everything over till March. until they can square away the pricing. But they didn't square away all the pricing, only for a couple hundred cards. But anyway, guys, we got Saturday at noontime. We can talk about this live on the live stream. So be there. We'll touch more base on it. We'll touch more base on it on Saturday at noontime. So make sure you're there. And also, too, if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, and also, too, don't forget about the notification bell so you know when I post the next video. Until then, next time, and the next video, you know what it is, and we'll see you on the next one.